A lot of people try budgeting and quit almost immediately. They download an app, make a spreadsheet, set strict rules, and tell themselves this time will be different. But after a few days or a few weeks, the whole thing falls apart. They feel frustrated, guilty, and confused. They start thinking budgeting does not work for them. But in most cases, the problem is not budgeting itself. The problem is one big mistake that beginners make over and over again. They build a budget that is too strict, too complicated, and too unrealistic for real life. In this video, we are going to talk about the biggest budgeting mistake beginners make, why it causes so many people to fail, and how to build a budget that actually works in the real world. Let's get into it. 1. The mistake. Treating budgeting like punishment. One of the biggest reasons people fail at budgeting is that they treat it like a punishment instead of a plan. They think budgeting means cutting out everything fun, saying no to every small pleasure, and living as cheaply as possible. That kind of mindset makes budgeting feel painful before it even begins. When beginners make this mistake, they create a budget that is impossible to enjoy. It has no flexibility. It has no room for real life. It has no room for a bad day, a surprise expense, or a small reward. So the moment life gets messy, the budget breaks. A budget should not feel like a prison, should feel like direction. Its job is not to make you miserable. Its job is to help you control your money instead of letting your money control you. 2. Why strict budgets fail so often. The more extreme a budget is, the harder it is to follow. Beginners often make a budget on a good day. They are motivated, focused, and ready to change everything at once. So they cut all unnecessary spending, set very low limits, and imagine they will be disciplined enough to stick with it forever. But real life is not that clean. Real life includes stress, social events, cravings, emergencies, lazy days, and unexpected costs. A strict budget usually does not survive contact with reality because it does not leave any room for mistakes or normal human behavior. That is why many people do well for a few days and then completely fall off. They do not fail because they are weak. They fail because the system was too rigid. 3. The all-or-nothing mindset. Another major part of this mistake is all-or-nothing thinking. Beginners often believe that if they cannot budget perfectly, then budgeting is useless. If they overspend one time, they feel like the whole month is ruined. If they miss one goal, they think they failed completely. This mindset is dangerous because money progress is never perfect. Some weeks will be better than others. Some months will be messy. That does not mean the entire system is broken. A good budget is not about perfection. It is about direction. If you are moving forward, most of the time, you are doing better than you think. The all-or-nothing mindset makes people quit too early. They judge themselves by one mistake instead of looking at the bigger picture. 4. Not making the budget realistic. A beginner budget often looks good on paper, but does not work in real life. People estimate they will spend less on food than they actually do. They forget about transportation, subscriptions, birthdays, holidays, coffee runs, random purchases, or small social expenses. Then the budget falls apart because it was built on fantasy instead of reality. This is one of the most common mistakes people make. They create a perfect version of their life instead of an actual version of their life. A realistic budget starts with your real numbers. You need to look at what you actually spend, not what you wish you spent. That means tracking your money for at least a few weeks before setting your limits. Once you know your patterns, you can build a budget around your real habits instead of an ideal version of yourself. 5. Ignoring small spending categories. A lot of beginners only focus on the big bills, rent, car payment, utilities, maybe groceries. But they ignore the small categories that slowly eat away at their money. Things like snacks, delivery fees, app subscriptions, impulse buys, convenience purchases, and random online orders can quietly destroy a budget. These small expenses are easy to ignore because each one feels minor, but over a month, they add up fast. That is why one of the biggest budgeting mistakes is only planning for the obvious expenses and forgetting the invisible ones. A strong budget pays attention to the little leaks, not just the big bills. 6. Not leaving room for fun. This is one of the biggest reasons beginners give up. They make a budget with no space for enjoyment, no eating out, no fun money, no hobbies, no small rewards, no breathing room. Then after a while, they feel trapped and start spending impulsively just to feel normal again. A budget that removes all enjoyment will not survive. People are not robots. If your plan feels too restrictive, you will eventually rebel against it. The solution is to give yourself a small amount of guilt-free money. This is not wasted money. This is money that helps your budget survive. When you know you are allowed to enjoy a little bit, you stop feeling deprived. A good budget makes room for life. It does not try to erase it. 7. Budgeting without a goal. Another mistake beginners make is budgeting without a purpose. They know they should manage their money better, so they make a budget, but they never define what they are trying to achieve. Are they trying to get out of debt? Save an emergency fund? Stop living paycheck to paycheck? Build better habits? Without a goal, the budget feels empty. When people do not know why they are budgeting, it becomes easier to quit. A goal gives the budget meaning. It turns random restriction into progress. It helps you stay motivated when things feel boring. It gives you a reason to say no to unnecessary spending, because you know what you are saying yes to instead. Budgeting works better when it is connected to something real. 8. Forgetting to review the budget. Many beginners make a budget once and never look at it again. They think the hard part is creating the plan, but the real challenge is adjusting it. A budget should be reviewed regularly because life changes, income changes, bills change, spending habits change, priorities change. If you do not review your budget, it can drift away from reality. Then you end up following a plan that no longer matches your life. The fix is simple. At least once a week or once a month, check your numbers. See what worked, see what did not. Adjust the budget instead of blaming yourself. A budget is not supposed to stay frozen. It is supposed to improve. 9. Trying to fix everything at once. Beginners often try to change every money habit at the same time. They want to save more, spend less, cook more, track everything, stop all impulse buying, and become financially perfect in 1 month. That is too much. When you try to change too many things at once, the process becomes overwhelming. Overwhelm leads to quitting. Quitting leads to guilt. Guilt leads to more bad spending. A better approach is to fix 1 or 2 habits first. Start with the biggest problem. Maybe you need to track spending. Maybe you need to stop emotional shopping. Maybe you need to create a more realistic grocery budget. Focus on one thing until it improves. Then build from this. Small wins create momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence makes budgeting easier. 10. The better way to budget. So what actually works? A better budget is simple, realistic, and flexible. It is built around your actual life, not your dream life. It includes savings, bills, essentials, and a little room for enjoyment. It does not try to make you perfect. It helps you stay consistent. The best budgets are not the most complicated ones. They are the ones you can follow even on a bad week. That means, track your spending, use real numbers, leave room for mistakes, give yourself fun money, and review your budget regularly. When budgeting becomes practical, instead of painful, it starts to work. Conclusion. The biggest budgeting mistake beginners make is trying to make the budget too strict, too perfect, and too unrealistic. That kind of budget looks impressive for a moment, but it usually fails because real life is not perfect. A good budget is not about control through punishment. It is about control through clarity. It helps you understand your money, guide your spending, and build habits that last. You do not need a perfect budget. You need a budget you can actually live with. Start simple, make it realistic, leave room for life, and keep improving as you go. If budgeting has felt hard before, the issue may not be that you were bad with money. The issue may be that your budget was too extreme to survive. Build one that fits your real life, and you will have a much better chance of staying consistent.